Hello, I'm Quartermuncher. Welcome to the Quartermuncher experience, where I play RPGs I've put off for too long. Today we're covering Trinity Trigger, an action RPG developed by 3 Rings and published by Xseed Games. It's a modern throwback to late 90s and early 2000s action RPGs, clearly inspired by classics like Secret of Mana. Trinity Trigger looks like a comfort food RPG, and sometimes the backlog makes something cozy and straightforward rather than, let's just say, a 100-hour existential crisis. I played it on PS5, but Trinity Trigger is also available on the Switch and PC. Alright, this is not a review, this is a journey. Let me tell you about the Quartermuncher experience. Trinity Trigger was designed as a deliberate homage to classic action RPGs. Several staff members previously worked on Mana and Tales titles, and the game's goal was familiarity over reinvention. The world of Trinity is divided between 2 gods waging a proxy war using chosen warriors called Warriors of Chaos and Order. Triggers act as living weapons and companions, capable of transforming into different weapon types. In Trinity Trigger, you play as Cyan, Elise, and Xantis, as they are pulled into a conflict with these gods and must decide whether to continue the cycle or break free from it. It's a pretty standard RPG story, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Trinity Trigger's towns are functional RPGs fleshed out. You've got chops for gear and items, NPCs that'll offer you some side quests, save points, and some story progression from there. Dungeons, on the other hand, are the heart of the game. Some of them have puzzles, some have elemental gimmicks, all of them have, let's just say, weapons-based interaction, especially with, enemies, and optional side rooms. They're often reused with variations of design, but they emphasize combat over visual spectacle, and that's what we're here for. Trinity Trigger's gameplay cycle is action-based real-time combat. You control one character while the AI handles the other, with swapping between them available. You've got 3 characters on the field. Triggers will transform into weapon types. Enemies have various weapon weaknesses. Swapping weapons with mid-combat is key, depending on the enemies at hand. It's intentionally old-school in structure. There's not a lot going on here. You go from town to dungeon to town to dungeon. There are side quests available, but they're mostly fetch quests, optional boss fight, and dungeon challenges. They exist more to support exploration rather than expand the story. Trinity Trigger's graphics are bright, colorful, and clean.
Who are you guys?
I enjoyed the chibi character
Gree
models.
asked us to come give you a hand.
Vibrant but simple, reinforcing the retro inspiration and minimalist aesthetic going on. Cutscenes are brief, dialogue is concise, menus are clean. There's play over spectacle going on here. The soundtrack, on the flip side, had a lot of melodic soundtrack with adventurous themes.
Monsters ambushed us out of nowhere. We fought them off, but...
Voice acting is fairly limited for some story scenes. It's not a particularly standout feature. The game runs smoothly on the PS5. It assumedly runs smoothly on the Switch as well, with stable performance. Load times are short, controls are responsive, some repetition in environments, but there's no major technical issues ongoing with Trinity Trigger. It has a few difficulty spikes and boss fights, but weaknesses aren't respected. It's fairly accessible for casual play, depending on how you want to orient it. In my playthrough of Trinity Trigger, I played it from A to B for the most part. It's fairly straightforward. Until the final boss wiped the floor with me. I had missed out on some side quests, so I chose to go back and do them, which led to extra dungeon areas, which led to more levels, which led to more weapons that my main characters needed to have in order to break the final boss's shields. Fortunately, this is the sort of game where more hack-and-slash action is welcome. Now it's time for the bests and worsts, or what I liked and disliked. One thing I liked about Trinity Trigger is the story/world. The story itself is nothing surprising, but it's rather simple for an RPG in a time when I needed simplicity. I also dug the world of the game. It's a battlefield of gods, and their weapons are essentially what you're dungeon crawling in. That's always neat. I also liked Secret of Mana. I have something of a soft spot for 2D hack and slashes, and this game is no exception. I don't think it's a secret that someone clearly played and liked it when they made this, and, well, I also enjoy spiritual successors. As for what I disliked, mimics. Every area has a number of treasure chests to collect, and I'd normally be cool with that kind of thing, but there's also a high chance that they might be mimics. These mimics are pretty strong enemies, so it makes every treasure chest you check a risk. To me, I didn't like it being a risk worth taking.
None of that,
The best part of Trinity Trigger, though, is Rai Takazama. He is the master artist at work here designing the characters and the game's visual style. The art was just going to be a basic like up until I had to ask who exactly did the art, finding the name Rai Takazama, putting him into Google, and seeing his other works at hand. A brief Google search came up with The Art of Nier Automata by Rai Takazama, and the piece of artwork I associate with Xenoblade. I have that frame.
Could you at least explain why?
Of course.
The worst part of Trinity Trigger is the final boss. Not the first one, not the second one, not the third one, but the fourth and final one. It's sort of where the whole game goes wrong. You need specific weapons in order to disable the shields, which means manually selecting the character, setting their weapons, and repeating for all three party members. Or not, considering once you do, they'll go after the minor enemies instead of said shields, which constantly rotate which weapons you need and which you don't, even to be consistent themselves. I was hitting a red shield with a spear and seemed to be doing 0 in mid-combo.
Just a moment, if I may.
Once his shields are down, he becomes more of a pain in the ass, the kind where you're going to be spending most of your time healing your AI teammates for going straight into the lasers. It took me over an hour to beat that guy, and that's why I'm putting him here. Alright, now it's time for By the Numbers. Trinity Trigger has 3 characters, with 8 weapons each, provided you unlock them in the respective dungeons. Some you have to complete a side quest, some part of the main plot. There are about 10 areas overall. That's about 10 towns, each with at least a dungeon, maybe 2, depending on how you qualify them overall. And Trinity Trigger took me about 18 hours to beat. Some main, some side quests, that's just overall. Anyway, I'm Quartermuncher. I'll see y'all in the next one. Ta-ta.